Fin Condition, Episode 7. Seth Levitt back here with OJ McDuffie and the Legendary Sevach. You are listening to the only show that does not care if your cards are PSA graded as long as they are in fin condition. And gentlemen, you want to talk about a card that is in fin condition, that's the card we're going to talk about today. This is 1990, all right? We're transitioning out of the 80s. I know we've been there for a few episodes. We're getting into the 90s, just like Chubb Rock jumps upon the scene. It's the SkyBox Prime Time B-2 Bombers, Louis Oliver and Jarvis Williams. I mean, two guys that Dolphins fans, just a smile has to overcome their face as soon as they even think about these guys. They also happen to be Florida Gators, and we can get into that in a moment.
Do we have
But
to?
I said,
Yes, man. Every time.
It might happen. It just might happen. So look, the B-2 Bombers. This is card number 331 out of 360. So SkyBox. We haven't even talked about SkyBox yet, but in that boom, we talked about 1989, the boom, 90s, all these different card companies came out, Fleer and SkyBox and Pro Set and so on and so forth. So SkyBox had a prime time set, and then within the set, they had this partnership with the Costacos Brothers. Does that name mean anything to you guys? Do you remember the Costacos Brothers?
Hell no. Who
I don't even know if I'm saying their
they
name.
sound
right.
like I should be like worried about them.
No. Well,
Like I don't want to talk no trash on them because they might be coming for me.
anybody who was
over our shoulder,
a kid, a teenager in the 80s, 90s, they made the coldest sports posters on the planet.
Okay.
They had all these posters, and they would get all your favorite stars, and I can only talk about the football ones. You know, there's the Dan Marino Armed and Dangerous, where he's got the Zubaz, and he's got the Aqua Corvette behind him. There was the John Offerdahl, the Predator, and Offerdahl, there was like dead players around him, and Offerdahl was dressed in all this crazy outfit. He was out in the jungle, and he was the Predator. But there was also the B-2 Bombers. And the B-2 Bombers were Louis Oliver and Jarvis Williams. I should say them in the other order only because Jarvis got to the Dolphins before Louis Oliver did. These are the B-2 Bombers, fellas.
Oh, wow. What a beautiful.
All right, you got the B-2 Bomber behind them with the stadium lights in the background.
Bloody right there.
Yeah,
Is that, I mean, who would want to go across the middle? Now, Juice, you were a tough receiver. Would you want to go across the middle with the B-2 Bombers swarming that area
Hell
back
no.
there?
Hell no. I'm going to tell you this. I was so glad they were on my team when I got here, Big Seth, because them was two of the biggest, hardest hitting safeties in the game right there.
Yes.
Lou was an intimidating dude from day one, and I was so glad he was on my team. Everybody wants to talk about, you know, the Ronnie Lotts or the Atwaters and guys like that. Louis Oliver was on that level of, for one, being able to knock the hell out of you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Jarvis was a sneaky one that could knock the hell out of you. These are two of the hardest hitting safeties in the game, and they were a tandem, you know, obviously with the Dolphins, but before that at Florida, like we're going to talk about a little bit later, Big Seth. And these dudes, man, going across the middle in practice was easy because they weren't going to hit you. But I can only imagine what some dudes from the Jets or the Bills or the Colts, you know what I mean, or the Patriots were feeling when these two dudes were in that secondary, man. These two B-2 Bombers were dope, man. I was just happy that I was wearing the same colors they were. And look at their fits in that.
I was going to say, speaking of their colors, can we talk about, like, who's got these
cold-blooded
jackets?
right there.
so
I need one of those jackets.
Man, that's cold. They got the uniform right with them, man. Look at that. They got the equal aqua and white right there and the socks,
Some
you
underlines
know,
there.
the black jacket. I'm about to hit Lou up now and be like, Lou, man, you still got this jacket. I need to, you know, let me see that jacket, man. 'Cause that jacket looks tight right there, bro.
So sweet. And what was then Joe Robbie Stadium in the background there,
Yeah.
and just, yeah, really cool. And it says across the top, the latest in defense technology. You got to love that as well.
Man, that's clean.
I had this poster. I had the three posters I mentioned to you. You know, I had the Armed and Dangerous. I had the Predator, and dorm room walls and all of that stuff.
You had Michael Jackson off the wall too.
I
know
did.
you had that one too. Big Seth.
I didn't, but I wanted that red jacket. I wanted that jacket. So I did not have the Michael Jackson off the wall poster, but I did have the B-2 Bombers. So when these cards came out in these sets, it was just super cool. So they had these mini poster cards, and I don't have any, but there were also these rare, like, metallic versions of these cards. So they were distributed as inserts. You could get this as a regular card number 331, but then they had these metallic inserts. And so if anybody has that, if you're listening to it and you have one of the metallic inserts of these SkyBox Primetime cards that from the Costacos Brothers, I'd love for you to tweet that at us at the Fish Tank 81. Yeah, we would love to check that out. Other notable posters that were made into cards that year, in addition to the ones I talked about, non-Dolphins, although I guess we can claim Troy Aikman kind of is a Dolphin these days.
Yeah, he's part of the family now.
He is part of the family. He said he's doing a little bit more work with the team. So Troy Aikman had the strong arm of the law, and he's standing there in an old duster, and he's got his cowboy hat, and he's holding his helmet like he's a six-shooter. Deion Sanders, now this is early 90s juice. So it was prime time. He was in full MC Hammer mode, had the shirtless with the jacket, the chains. He had the fedora on, so there was that one. Christian Okoye, Nigerian Nightmare is dope. Go look that one up. And then going back to Cleveland, I'm going to bring it back because I know I talked about my Gators already. Bernie Kosar Air Raid. It looks like a Top Gun poster. In fact, it says Bernie Kosar Air Raid. Go look it up. And you'll see it's got the branding almost looks like Top Gun, and he's in a Cleveland brown orange flight suit. He's dressed as like a fighter pilot as well. But that air raid would not have wanted to run into the B-2 bombers.
No, they would not have. I'm sure he did, and it probably wasn't too pleasant. And Bernie's my guy. I just spent time with Bernie's past weekend or so. And I'm sure everybody was worried about what type of trouble they might get their receivers in if they threw the ball errantly against the B-2 bombers. Because I know that back then, Big Seth, I mean, there was no, they didn't take care of receivers back in the day.
Defenseless receiver was not that phrase didn't exist.
They didn't give a damn about them receivers, man.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it though, man. Guys like Lewis and Jarvis, they want to set a tone and a tempo early in the game to let these guys know that it's going to be a long day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you hit one, then the rest of them talk about it, and then who wants to go across the middle then? These dudes right here.
Set the tone,
and then not only that, they were hitting running backs in the hole, Big Seth.
Wow.
I saw Jarvis take on fullbacks and knock them down, and then the linebackers make tackles, man. These dudes together were a dynamic duo, and I know we've lost Jarvis, man, unfortunately. But man, them dudes were tough, man. We talked about the Marco Coleman already, right?
Yep.
So Jarvis and Lewis were already the safeties. Then they bring in Marco and Troy Vincent in our defense as well. And that was just a physical defense, man. It really was, man. And so to be able to put all those guys together with those two safeties, man, was just, like I said, I was happy I got drafted by the Dolphins. I was on the same team with these guys.
No doubt. And I'm glad you brought that up because Coach Shula, I think ultimately the performance of your team dictates what happens. And there's a lot of different factors, but the Dolphins defense struggled against the Bills. I mean, that was the Bills had their run for 4 years going to the Super Bowl. They were in our division, continue to be in our division, couldn't get past the Bills. And when it mattered most, they would just kind of put up all kinds of points, like video game type numbers. But the Dolphins did invest heavily in defense. Jarvis Williams, second round draft pick, 1988. Lewis Oliver, first round draft pick, 1989. And they invested in the running game. All the things they were criticized for, they tried to make an investment. Also in 89, as we talked about in the last episode or in the Troy Stratford episode, that Sammy Smith was drafted. So you get these two guys from the University of Florida who played really well together. The communication back there was serious. They were absolutely very highly regarded, even outside of South Florida, when Juice saw what they were doing on practice days. It was just a cool time to be a Dolphins fan.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, it really, really was, man. For you guys, not for me. But
well, what was worse, the way he would hit or the way he would judge people's dress when they got onto the team plane?
Man.
What was worse? And by he, I mean Lewis Oliver.
Lou was, man, he was the fashion guru and the fashion critic of all critics, man. So yeah, I think the fact that I didn't get hit by him, I'm going to say that his critique of my dress was probably harder because I never got hit by Lewis Oliver. But walking down that aisle as a rookie to the back of the plane when your fit looked like the air slops that I had in my card, when your fit wasn't quite right, man, it was like I mean, it is the walk. It's almost like a walk of shame is what it was, Big Seth, until we got ourselves a Taylor. Terry Kirby and I got ourselves a Taylor because of Lewis Oliver and Richmond Webb and all these other dudes that was like clowning us because we still had our college fit on, man. You know, navy blazer, khaki pants. You know, that's what we had until we got a couple bucks in our pocket, man. And then we got a Taylor. Now I got a bunch of old ass clothes that I don't wear anymore.
But they were not. I bet there's a few double-breasted suits in there.
They're
coming back.
There's
they're
three pieces and all kinds of stuff.
I'm sure they
long jackets. Remember the long jackets?
I do.
Those are short jackets, and I like them.
And when you could dress like this, you could judge others. The B-2 bombers.
Love it.
If you have one of these cards or one of the other Costacos Brothers cards from the old SkyBox, I think they did it maybe 90 and 91. They did it for a couple of years.
That one specifically is a 92, right?
I'm actually glad you said that, Sevach. I think the photo was taken in 1990 because of the poster, and the cards in 1992. Thank goodness the producer, the legendary Sevach, is here, Juice, because I've been calling it 1990. If anybody's looking through and your stuff is actually organized and you can't find it, that's my bad. I think they did these posters in 91 and 92. This is a 1992 SkyBox Prime Time card.
I do love it, though, because it is. When you look at that image, it is just absolutely dripping in the 90s. I mean, that is.
I would love to find that card somewhere, man.
Yeah.
That's like Miami Vice right there. You know, football field.
There's no doubt.
Like, I look at that and I feel my childhood nostalgia, like, just swelling up. That's what that card looks like.
We had to get into the 90s to get there, Juice, but he's finally feeling his childhood.
We're getting there. Memories coming around.
Feeling his childhood.
You know what I mean? He's starting to develop his cognitive skills and all that, motor skills and things like that.
Nice. Cognitive skills. Well, listen, if you remember this, you had this card, or you're just getting the nostalgic feels like Sevach's getting, make sure that you are following the show. Don't just listen, follow the show. Hit that little plus up there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go ahead and give us a 5-star rating. We could use one of those. Share it with your friends and show us your cards as long as they are in fin condition.
That's a misprint. Fin condition.